All right. Alrighty. Welcome one and all to the Ash stream. This is Vitriol coming to you from the East Coast. We got an interesting one for you today. I'm going to be checking out the new controversy on Gollum. This game that a lot of people have been waiting for. I personally had pretty low expectations for it, but as always, I'm your host, Vitriol, and going to be eating some fresh ginger here. I hope you guys have been liking the tunes. Been trying to spice things up, you know. A little dark retro synthwave music for you. Also, probably be joining the guys here later, playing some Fortnite and some Modern Warfare. Oh, there's Victor. What up? What up, Victor? What is up? Pull some stuff up here real quick, get everything set up. Sorry for the long intro. I had to do a couple things. Do a few things there. I plan on doing a lot more videos like this where I'm just reacting to some stuff, you know, making some different kind of content. I know I get copyright strikes all the time, you know, on YouTube, which is fine because I'm not anywhere close to being monetized at all on YouTube at this point. So just trying to build up my audience. As long as I'm not getting any kind of bans from it, then I'm completely okay with that. Obviously, you know, you can't, what would you call it? You know, monetize backwards those older videos once you start to gain a following. So that can be, yeah, I'm not getting any strikes, you know, getting copyrights is fine, but I'm not getting any strikes. On my other channel, I've actually had strikes. I've only had one strike. And no strikes just for it depends on like the type of copyright, obviously, but like the Fortnite stuff, no strikes with that, you know. I can even pull that up. I can pull it up. Yep, no strikes, but so like you get a copyright claim, but it's not a copyright strike, right? Like because the owner of the content allows it to be used on YouTube. So I can pull this over here and show this. This is fine. So like on YouTube, right? You can see yeah, copyright protection content found. See details. Right? Not affected. Okay. This is not a copyright strike. You know? So I get these all the time. Now this one here is, this is still not a strike, technically, I don't think. This just means it's blocked in other regions. Yeah. Oh, this one's blocked in all territories. In all territories, so I'll have to remove that. But what I'll do is I'll just go in here and I'll trim this segment out. That was the only one that I've gotten. So that one's from Bandai. Okay. Have I gotten any others? Nope. Oh, this one was a partially blocked. Let's see what that one's about. See details. It's blocked in some areas, mostly China, Egypt. Yeah. This is why, like, I'm against, like, fair, like, I'm all for fair use, you know? Like, I would consider this to be fair use. But yeah, no strikes. Technically, no strikes. Just a block, which will be fixed here shortly. So, which one was that, too? That was a few days ago? Yeah. The 23rd. Look at something here. Oh well, been going up. All right. Okay, I'm back. You're back. Oh, well, you missed out on what I was saying then. I'm not gonna repeat it. I'm gonna check out this. Pull this up. Actually, let's see. See what my concurrent viewer rate is now. Still not over 2. I'm at 1.81. Really close to 2. Still going up. It should go up a little higher because yesterday I had a lot of viewers. For a while, it was like a consistent 4 or 5. Not a lot, but you know. All right. Turn that off. Mute this.
Can't find it. The precious is gone.
Let's check this out.
Whether it's
Rings,
a book,
Gollum.
a movie, or a video
Turn this
game,
down a little bit.
creative works generally exist for a reason. Sometimes it's to delight by entertaining with moving stories or fun gameplay. Other times,
We'll
it's
check
to
out a couple
inform
videos on
by
this.
exposing the
See what people are
audience to
saying about
different
it.
Perspectives. Or it makes you think.
I've heard some bad
Interesting
stuff though.
ideas that challenge you to consider
It
or
looks
reflect. The
pretty
Lord of the
bad,
Rings
honestly.
Gollum, however, is a game that does none of these things.
What if he watches us, the Dark Lord? What if he sees?
Instead, it thrusts you into the role of the titular character without doing anything meaningful with his defining internal conflict, and sends him on a series of missions that are neither fun to play nor interesting to experience. The one question it poses is, why would someone want to play this?
I crave disappointment.
That was my original question. Gollum's face looks funky, dude. Like, it doesn't look anything like in the
Playing as
movies.
Gollum sounded like it might have been a decent pitch for a game, since
I guess
he's one of the
kinda.
more interesting and famous characters
No.
in J.R.R. Tolkien's fantasy universe.
It's muted?
He and Smeagol are two sides of the same coin. The good person that was
Oh, it's going
Smeagol
through.
was
I can hear it on my side.
tragically corrupted by the One Ring,
Yeah.
twisted into this pathetic creature.
Well,
it's
I
his
muted
clammy
myself
bare feet that you
because
step
I,
into,
you know,
ostensibly
doing
with
Oh,
the
you're
goal of
muted.
regaining
Interrupt.
possession of the ring from Bilbo Baggins. However, most of your time is spent experiencing Gollum's life as a prisoner during the years between The Hobbit and the Fellowship of the Ring in a linear, story-driven series of levels. Prison Simulator Mordor Edition is sadly less interesting than
Let's pause it. I'll just back out of the Discord until I'm done with this, and then we'll get on some Fortnite if you're down. Gotcha.
it sounds.
Okay.
Instead of a grand Lord of the Rings adventure, you are stuck collecting bits and baubles for forgettable NPCs and hiding in bushes from monotonous guard patrols.
Looks like
There
PS3
are generally
graphics.
3 parts to any level, ranging from uninteresting to just plain bad.
I mean, the
There's
environment
chore
looks good,
stage
but the
in which
character
Gollum
models
goes
look
from
horrible.
one waypoint to another to complete some menial task. There's always some conceptually different scenario, like crawling through small openings to detonate these explosives, but functionally they're all a series of marches across the same areas over and over again.
Yeah, but what did you expect from a Gollum game?
It never feels like there's any point to it, just busy work. It could be fun to run around with
He's a
Gollum
house slave.
thanks to his surprising sprint speed, but he has a stamina meter that depletes in just a few seconds and takes far longer to replenish. Trying to get anywhere involves too little speed, too much waiting, and an unfortunate amount of hearing Gollum choking on his own breath. The platforming phases are more compelling, but still poorly designed. Spacious rooms with handles to climb, walls to run, and
Looks like the
leaps to take
cameras-
bring a faster pace
camera
of
angles
action,
look horrible.
But the loose and floaty way Gollum moves and the imprecise controls make it feel like something from the PlayStation 2 era. Having experienced a modern Assassin's Creed
Yeah,
or Tomb Raider
that's what I was
game,
thinking, like
it feels
PlayStation 2,
far
early
too easy
PlayStation
to
3.
jump toward the correct point and still fall to your death because you drifted to one side or missed the part of the ledge that has the white line that establishes exactly where you can grab. The paths are rigidly defined and often involve blind jumps or best guesses at what the next intended handle is.
Like, why didn't they just make a Legolas
Rather
game
than
or like a
thoughtful
Gandalf
throwback,
game or
it
something?
comes
You know,
across
that
as
would be way
outdated,
cooler.
a poor facsimile of classics like the Prince
Like
of
these,
Persia series.
the people
Finally,
probably
there
had
are
like
the
one
stealth
idea.
segments, which
They
are
were like, yeah,
simply
this will be a
bad.
great idea.
Anytime Gollum
Like
needs
one
to go
mechanical
from point A to
idea,
B undetected,
which is probably
it's
like
going
the split personality of Gollum, right? Like the back and forth, which would be pretty cool. I think that would be kind of interesting to see the different sides, and you could, you know, choose the dark or the light with that. You know, we always like that stuff, right? But like that's probably the main idea they had, right? Split personality mechanics. And everything else is just like climbing, I guess just a platformer, and I guess that's it, really, right? I mean, I don't know what else you could get out of this game. He's not a fighter. He doesn't fight, you know. Like, there can't be any combat, really. A stealth, right? Stealth. So let's see if they talk about stealth.
to be a slog. Enemies have extremely limited patrol patterns, are terribly nearsighted, and seem to suffer from acute rapid onset amnesia.
Yeah, that AI
forgetting
looks
Gollum
horrible.
existed not long after losing sight of him. These are issues that plagued mediocre stealth games 15 years ago, and it's jarring to see them in 2023. There's no cat
Yeah,
and
the
mouse
AI
game
looks
of
horrible.
outsmarting enemies using interesting abilities and clever level design as you do in something like Dishonored or Hitman. You just exploit their painfully obvious blind spots with no objective outside of reaching the designated point. Gollum's only tools are his ability to sneak quietly, throw rocks, and
Rocks.
disappear in tall grass or shadows. Because the enemy AI is surprisingly terrible, doing something as simple as clinging to this wall can make you completely immune to capture. Spotted by guards in the animal pits of Barad
This is a
Dûr,
joke.
just
It's an
jump up here until
absolute
they lose
joke.
interest. Eventually, some of the orcs get crossbows, but even
Like, how
then,
did this
the threat
game
is
get
minimal.
funded,
There's no
you know?
combat per se, which makes sense because Gollum
This is
no
worse than
fighter when it
Redfall.
comes to any opponent larger than a hobbit. You do have the option to strangle enemies, which is on brand.
Oh, okay, so you do
but
got a
it
little
comes with
combat.
some odd caveats. First, it doesn't work on anyone with a helmet. This makes sense for someone in full battle regalia. Smeagol's grubby mitts wouldn't bend steel after all.
Okay, so you can
However,
kill people.
What defines a helmet in this game is broadly open to interpretation. Like, whatever this is on this orc's head, is that a hat? It's anybody's guess, but there's a decent chance he's strangle-proof.
Let's have a little.
Oh,
Also, strangling only applies to orcs. It makes sense you can't choke beasts like spiders, where would you even grab? But humanoid races like elves apparently have invincible throats, eliminating the only method to bypass enemies apart from the bad stealth. A few
Wow.
chase sequences change up the pace, though they are hit and miss. This wagon chase, where you dodge obstructions and archers, is legitimately fun. But this Crash Bandicoot-esque run toward the camera, where you run from an iconic
Oh my
spider,
god, this is like
miserable
so
thanks
old
to the
school.
imprecise platforming and inability to see obstacles until moments before you need to avoid them. It is frustrating to play as a character who is looking ahead and should see incoming objects, but not being able to see them yourself and die.
You know, it's funny.
because of
I was just having an argument with a buddy about the new the Legend of Zelda game, right? And he was complaining because they're charging $70 for Legend of Zelda, saying that it's outdated tech, you know, it's just a copy and paste thing, and that it's not worth $70. I happen to disagree. I think the new Zelda game, I haven't played it personally, but from what I've watched, from what I've heard, from what I've read, I think the new Zelda game is excellent. So it comes to the idea of, right, form versus function, right? So does it function good? The Zelda game functions good. Are the aesthetics up to date with AAA games? You know, no Zelda game really has been since what, 64? And what are you expecting? To get 60 or 120 frames per second off of a Twitch? You're not going to. The tech is old, you know, that is true. So you're going to get 30 frames. It's going to be locked at 30 frames, which is expected for Switch. What did I say? Twitch? I mean, Switch. So, yeah, so Switch is not going to run at 60 to 120 frames per second. It's not going to work that way. The cartoony, you know, old school graphics, I love it, you know, and they're not really old school. They're really crisp. They look good. Yeah, they're a few years outdated because, you know, they are milking everything. And I don't like Nintendo as a company. Right? Like if we want to complain about something with Nintendo, we can complain about the IP stuff, right? Now that I can get behind, but arguing because they're charging for full price for a game that actually functions correctly, that is innovative with its mechanics, right? Still looks good. And there are far less bugs in the game than something like Call of Duty, right? Which looks amazing, AAA graphics and everything. Same price, right? But yet does not function very well for the most part. There's constant updates, you know, like almost every 3 days I get an update, you know, so it's a big issue. So would I rather pay full price for Zelda than something like that? Yeah, this is a game, however, that shows, you know, like, hey, they're charging you $70 for this game, $50 to $70, right? And its functionalities are so outdated that it's not okay. This is a money grab. You know, this is absolutely unacceptable.
Hardcore Lord of the Rings fans know Gollum himself is a complex character, both a victim and a villain, but that's not explored in any meaningful way in this story. There are occasional binary choices to answer questions or take action as Gollum or Smeagol, but it never felt like this altered the story or had lasting effects on Gollum himself. Sometimes there's a need for one side of Gollum's personality.
He looks like shit. Look, he does look like a PS2 character.
Like when Gollum is hiding from an orc and a painting of the Eye of Sauron sends him into hysterics. The two choices were kill the orc, which Gollum supported, or the Smeagol endorsed option to keep panicking.
Be quiet. Yes, very quiet.
Picking the correct argument to win the debate from the multiple choice is exceptionally easy and makes it all feel pointless. It's not very interesting to look at either. Even with all the PC graphics options set to epic, places like Barad-dûr look drab and flat, and the empty lifelessness of the Mirkwood stands out in an era of games where lush flora and fauna has become the norm. Gollum's model looks good enough, including his surprisingly detailed wisps of hair, and his mannerisms are well captured, but other characters suffer
I think he
from
looks like shit.
distractingly stiff animations and a haunting lack of facial expression. The sound design, however, is strong.
Must go into the tunnel. Too dangerous.
The raspy, almost choking speech of Gollum is well acted, as is the clearer and more timid Smeagol side of his personality.
Was it Deagle who found the precious? Don't listen to evil sorceress, my love.
It sounds exactly like someone who saw Andy Serkis's performance in the movie trilogy would expect. Even small details like the clammy sound of Gollum's hands slapping on different surfaces as he climbs or runs, or the reverberation of ringing bells in certain spaces stand out
They do
as
got
authentic.
something right. They got the sound right.
Detail. But even if it looked and sounded uniformly spectacular, Gollum would still feel pointless to play. And that
Right, because the
feeling turns to
aesthetics don't
despair.
matter. The functionality matters. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you're not going to be fulfilled as a gamer if you got a great looking game, but there's nothing there as far as content wise. Like, what are you doing? You know, it's like you have a open world, gorgeous environment. Everything looks, you know, so grandiose and so amazing, right? So crisp, so clear. But what do? It's just boring. It's dull. It's flat. It's flatline, bro.
When the technical issues
Shit
crop
is
up.
flat.
On 3 different occasions
Flat-chested.
during this review, levels needed to be fully restarted. Once because of an unfortunately placed autosave, and twice because parts of puzzles were outright broken. So despite the solution being evident, there was no way to advance. They weren't fully game-breaking problems because restarting fixed them, but they were spirit-breaking. Playing through areas that were uninteresting the first time bordered on painful for a second go-round that never should have been necessary. Finally, if for some reason you wanted to go through all of this again, there are hidden collectibles, but they don't offer any sort of rewards. Unless you count this as a reward. It just felt pointless to add to his sad hoard of not-so-precious treasures.
Oxes build all their things with these, always nails.
The Lord of the Rings Gollum fails to provide a satisfying answer to the big whys. Why, of all the interesting characters in the Lord of the Rings lore, would anyone want to play an entire game as Gollum? Why would one trade the
Who would
solid
want this
action of
game?
prior games in this universe like Shadow
I
of
know I was
Mordor
never
for
interested in this
busy work,
game.
uninspired and frustrating platforming, and bad stealth? It's not clear who this is for or what it was intended to achieve. What is clear is that it's not fun to play, and not something to recommend to any but the most
Yeah,
curious.
do
and
not buy
dedicated
this
Lord of the
game for
Rings.
$70. 4? You gave it a 4? Dude,
For more
I would have gave it a
fantasy
2.
action, Check out our reviews of Darkest Dungeon
2.
2 and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
2.
For everything else, stick with IGN.
I give it a 2. Let's see.